You're live.
Awesome. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Behind the Chairs page. I'm Janelle Iyer, and I'm on the Ulta Beauty design team. So I've been in the industry for over 12 years, and I'm super excited to share my favorite thing with you today, which is color, specifically semi-permanent color. So I want to invite you guys in chat to interact and ask me as many questions as you'd like to maybe just say hi or just ask me any questions that may come to mind for you. So if you do chat, say hi or just if you do chat, you do get entered into a giveaway for a $100 Ulta Beauty gift card. So make sure you interact and let's have some fun today. All right, so let me show you the mannequin that we're gonna go off of today. So I've got this one here, and you may have seen her around. She was nominated as a finalist in the mannequin category for the One Shot Hair Awards. So I'm just going to turn her slowly so you can see, but she's got all of this dimension in her hair. So I'm going to show you the technique that I used to achieve this today, and also go through and show you some different sorts of techniques with also using semi-permanents in general. Now, I know you may not see this particular haircut super often in the salon. So I also did the exact same technique on a different mannequin so that you can really see that this is something that you can take home with you in the salon and use it not just on a super texturized haircut like this, but on something with really soft layers as well. So this is the exact same technique, just on something with a different haircut. So you can still see all those pops of color and all the dimension in her hair. So let's get started. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to learn some stuff about some semi-permanent colors? So at Ulta Beauty, we use Matrix So Color Cult for our semi-permanent colors.
I have a question.
We have a question.
Tanya. Where did you order your mannequins?
Where did I order my mannequins? So they actually come from Pivot Point. So that is where they hail from. So we're using semi-permanent color today from Matrix So Color Cult. They have a ton of different shades, and what's cool about them is they have semi, demi, and permanent shades, so you can use them all across the board with different shades. And I feel like you can make tons of different colors with any of the colors that they have set out for you. I feel like I've not been stunted by the amount of color selection that they have, so I'm super excited about that. So let's talk a little bit about mixing. So actually, you know what? Let me show you her partings really fast too. So here's the mannequin. It's actually cut in the same way as this mannequin over here. So I have her parted off. So this top piece has 2 clips just to make sure we control all those short little layers on top. But as you can see, we have kind of this diagonal placement all the way around the scalp. And it's nothing particular. It's just almost like a star shape all the way around. And then I did leave some fringe out as well, so we can have that pop through. You can leave that out and not colored if you want to, if you're doing this at home. And so it stops right here at the occipital, and then all of this is just pinned out of the way, and it's not going to be colored at all. So all the color is just here in the center of the mannequin. So mixing color. I'm going to angle this down so you can really see what we've got here. And my little helper is going to, perfect. There we go. Does that work? Awesome. So I've already kind of mixed some things together here. I'm going to go very closely to what we have on the mannequin, but I wanted to add an extra color. So the first color that I have is that really pretty bright coral piece that you see in the mannequin. And I used the Matrix Orange Alert with fuchsia and coral. And so I did that because I wanted that orange to really pop, but instead of it just being bright orange, to add that fuchsia in there, it really helps make it bright and give it that corally feel. And then I also added coral to just add a little different depth to that orange. So as we mix, you can see it all swirl together, super satisfying. It's my favorite part. So we're getting this really, really, really pretty bright coral color. And if you wanted to dilute this down, of course, you could add some clear to the color. So let's test this out. So I always test out on a white piece of paper, and I do have one with a yellow tint to it. Since we aren't working with a mannequin that has platinum hair, we need to see what it's going to look like with that slight yellow tint on it as well. So I'm going to demo it right through onto the yellow as well, so you can see a difference. So what this does for me is I can see now that the orange or the coral that I made is not going to be muddy. It seems really bright still, and it actually looks really well with the white. They're pretty close and similar in color. What I could do is add a little bit more fuchsia if I wanted to. Who likes to custom mix their shades? Because that is my favorite part. When I custom mix the shades, I feel like it really does give a customized look for your guests, so they feel like, okay, I can't get this anywhere else. So it kind of gives them that like little VIP treatment. Okay, so I added a little bit more fuchsia, and we're gonna let that kind of air out, and it'll show us what we're gonna have. All right,
Norma is asking if we add developer to this color.
Ooh, if I add developer to the color, good question. So I don't add developer to this color. So this is semi-permanent, which means it's kind of an ink dye. It stains the hair. So you don't add developer to it. It doesn't need to oxidize at all. So that is not needed. What you see is basically what you'd get. So you see it immediately onto a paper, which is why we test it out first. Now my next color that I have is Blooming Orchid mixed with fuchsia. And I added the fuchsia to the orchid because, okay, so let me show you the orchid by itself. Okay, so here's the orchid by itself. It's just purple. It does have a little bit of that pinkish hue to it, but I wanted that pink to kind of pop a little bit more in the fuchsia. So what happens with purples, as you may have noticed, is it does tend to fade green. So if I add that pink ahead of time, I kind of help the process of combating that green fade in the future. Okay, so now we've got a little bit of a pink hue, so you can kind of see the difference. And I'm going to pull that down onto the yellow so you can see what that looks like against a yellow background. It's really important because that yellow, if you are thinking of the color wheel, is going to really play a huge role in what's going to happen and what you're going to see with your end result. So you can see these are two completely different colors, but I'm not mad about it. I think it looks kind of nice. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is.
And how many washes does the color last?
So this color, it depends. I believe it's up to 47 washes. It's quite a bit. It really depends on how dark you go, how light you got your hair to, what kind of shampoo you're using, and the maintenance that you do with semi-permanent colors. So I just mixed our blue. I had Aqua Bay and a little bit of that navy blue color in there and some retro. So the navy blue is going to add depth. What I have here on this mannequin is about a level 7, so I need to add depth to the color so that you can actually see it, or it'll be muddy onto the hair. So here's our blue shade, and it's actually kind of a cool like teal color. And pulling that down, as you can see on yellow, it's starting to show a little bit more green, which again, I'm not super mad about. It looks really cool. This color scheme looks nice together. Now the final color that I wanted to just mix with you on screen here is our green. So on the mannequin, she's got a neon green color. So I have my neon green here. However, like I said, she is a level 7, and I really, really want to see that green pop. So I'm going to add a little bit of clover to it to add some depth to the color. You can see that it's a little bit darker, and I'm not adding a ton because I still want it to be quite bright. All right, I'm going to stir it up. Awesome. Who here is afraid of green? Green is like my favorite color to work with, and I feel like it really adds a ton of like different dimension into the color. Okay, so now let's see. This is going to be a huge difference with what it's going to be on the white versus the yellow because there is so much yellow. So here it is on white. really bright and beautiful. But as soon as we hit it on that yellow, it actually kind of enhances that neon and makes it a little bit brighter, and we can still see the green in it. So I know it's gonna work out on my mannequin. So mixing is huge. To double check, to test it out, grab some yellow papers or something. This is just cardstock that I found in like a citrus ombre, and it kind of works for just double checking everything. So I'm gonna pull this up so you can see our mannequin now.
We do have a few people saying that they love green.
Good.
Not a lot of people are brave enough to get it in the chair.
It is true. Green is something that I feel like they become more brave when you as a stylist are comfortable with knowing how to get it out. So, for example, actually, my little spokesman behind the camera, she did green one time, and that was the fear is, okay, well, how are we going to get back? Because her next color she wanted was pink. But, knowing your color wheel, knowing how to cancel out those tones, it really, really helps so that you can give the best result, preserve their hair integrity, and still let them have fun and do whatever color they want, not feel like stuck in a little box with just, okay, I can only do pinks and oranges because those fade the best. Let them be free, and then know your color wheel so you can really, really achieve whatever you want to for your guest. All right, so now I'm going to move this forward, and we're going to start with, let me lower this just slightly. A little further. Does that work? Okay. So now we're going to start with, first I want to show you guys how I do a melt. So let me just adjust slightly here. So I'm going to take her hair and split it in half right in the fringe area and pin this out of the way. Now, the way you know how much hair to use or to take when you're doing a section is you do want to be able to kind of see your fingers through the hair. If it's too thin, then it's going to dry out really, really fast, and it's probably going to take you a really long time to apply. But if it's just enough hair that you can still see your fingers through the hair, then you're going to be able to saturate well enough. I'm going to leave this hair out of the way, the short piece on the side, so I can have control over the hair. So I've got a piece finger size section here, so I can have full control over the hair. And I'm going to start with my darkest shade at the top of the hair. So I've got my orchid color that I mixed prior. And for those of you who just came in, just so you know, if you chat and interact and ask questions, you do get entered into a giveaway, and you could win up to $100 gift card for Ulta Beauty if you even just say hi or ask a question. So I'm going to apply the color. I'm trying to be careful not to stain the mannequin. All right. And I went down just about an inch. Can everybody see that okay? Now I'm going to take my two fingers here, and I'm going to squeeze that into the hair. And that's so I can have full saturation of the product into the hair. Now I'm going to stop there. We can easily go overboard and do what we do with, oxidative color and just blend it right down and get a little bit messy. But we do have to be careful when we're doing a creative color placement like this. So now that I've applied, what I need to do is wipe my hands thoroughly on a towel between my next color. So my next color I'm going to use is the coral color that we created. Do we have any questions coming in?
I was going to ask what you do to prevent stains on your guest's skin.
Ooh, stains. So if this were a client, and I was not prepared with foil today, I would put a foil right here, right around the fringe area to help prevent that staining. On the scalp, that does seem to be quite a bit of a problem. You'll have staining right on the scalp. So especially for like the photo, I would just take an alcohol wipe actually and go right on their part, and it comes immediately off. Or if you have like a color remover wipe, it'll come right off. Okay, so my next color here, you see I go down, but I haven't started right where the purple left off. So I'm going to blend up into that. And I just went down about 1 inch. And I'm going to take my 2 fingers again and squeeze that in so it's nice and blended. And now to meld these two together, I'm going to take my 2 fingers and swirl right where those colors meet so that it blends really, really nicely. Now, if it doesn't look blended on your mannequin, it's not going to be blended in real life when you're all washed and styled. So it's really important that you see everything is beautifully blended before washing your client out. Okay, so my next step here, after we do what? We wipe our hands. And my last color, which is my lightest color, is going to be the green. So the green, because I really don't want to lose that color, I don't want it to blend too much with the other, I'm going to start at the ends and work my way up.
And then how long would you say an application like this would take for like a whole head?
Ooh, for a whole head. So if from start to finish, like if we're blonding and stuff, something like this it depends on a lot of things. Obviously, how light they're gonna let me get it, like their hair itself will let me go. But if I'm just doing just this color right now, it's already been pre-lightened, this would probably take me maybe 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the intricacy. Something like this could take me, up to an hour to apply. Like if I were to do it like a holographic color, it could take me probably at least an hour to apply. So that's why it's really important to make sure you're saturated so you can see that it's just like heavy on there. Semi-permanent color does tend to dry out, and when it does, it won't cover fully in those areas that it's dried out. So it's really important that you have tons of product on there. Okay, so now I'm going to do my next step. And if you've noticed, I've kind of been applying straight forward. However, this guest is not going to wear her hair forward. It's going to go to the side. So what I'm doing is over directing it. So I have a nice soft diffused line when she does wear it to the side. So typically you would have a foil or saran wrap towards the face there to protect it from the color staining. Okay, so now we're going to take the purple again. And what you may have noticed too is with the blonding that I did prior, I didn't go right up to the root with it. And the reason for that is because I wanted a nice soft and diffused look all the way around the head. So it really is cohesive with the rest of the hair. And what this does also is it really makes it so that your guest's color is low maintenance as well. So it's a win-win.
Do you go over like your color mixtures that you're putting in?
Absolutely. So let me go over my color mixtures for anybody that may have missed. So this first color I did is a Matrix So Color Colt Semi-Permanent. We've got Orchid mixed with a little bit of Fuchsia, so kind of that pink color. This next color is my bright coral color. So I used Matrix Orange Alert with a little bit of Fuchsia to add that brightness, and then just a tiny bit of Starfish Coral to add a different dimension to that orange, a different shade to it. Okay, so now I'm taking my 2 fingers and I'm swirling that color together to blend. Okay, and actually we could go a little bit lower. It doesn't have to land exactly where the one prior was, because of what this is going to do is going to help diffuse any lines that you have so that everything is really soft, organic, and cohesive in the end. So I need to wipe my hands off. And this last color I have is Matrix So Color Colt Neon Green with a little bit of clover green. So starting at the ends, leaving that space between so I can make sure that green is really vibrant and a pure green and not muddied by the orange. So now I'm going to just slightly blend up and use my 2 fingers to blend those colors together.
What brand of tools do you use?
Ooh, what brand of tools? A lot of our tools at Ulta Beauty are from or Color Track. So this one in particular is a Fermar brush. I really like those soft bristles. It really, really, really helps with any sort of softness and blending. When I do balayage, when I do highlights, I use a softer bristle brush like so. Okay, so that blend is all set and ready to go. Really, really saturated. Make sure you take a really saturated section. Make sure it's not too thin and not too thick also. So now let's move on to the side. Make sure you take sections that are workable for you. Don't overwhelm yourself. But also, this is a very, and I've had her hair tied up for like a week, so that's why she's extra bouncy right now. But make sure you take sections that are workable for you so you're not overwhelmed, so the hair is not kind of, falling into the rest of it. You can keep full control of the color. So this color is a very organic placement. I really did take time to just visually see where everything's going to go beforehand. So I think it would be cool to add this blend and this melt of color around the face here. So I'm going to do that just to these front sections, and then the rest we're going to take little pieces and do a little bit more organic placement. So I think that this would be cool so it can kind of go together with the rest of the hair. And I'm going to do just a plain color on top of that. So we've got our Matrix So Color Kohl Orchid with our fuchsia. And now I'm going to pull this down a little bit further. And I am using my 2 fingers to really squeeze that into the hair and blend that down. Okay. And now I'm taking my orange, and you see I've given a little bit of space right here. And that's okay. You see this right here? It's ended. That's okay. You can leave that be and just carry on to keep going down the rest of the hair. All right, so now I'm going to take my fingers and blend that in to that orchid color. So that pinch is really what helps to blend that together. So you can see everything is nice and smooth and cohesive in that. Swirling that in, blending down, and now I'm going to put just a little bit of green on the very tip there. So as far as you guys go, what kind of colors have you been seeing a lot of in the salon? Are you guys really comfortable with doing semi-permanent colors? Is this something that you see a lot in the salon, or is this something that maybe you want to get a little bit better at, and maybe you just need some of these little tips and tricks to elevate your semi-permanent color game, your vibrant color game? Okay. So this next color up top here, I've got this little piece. So this is where we're going to get fun and get a little bit more PC and organic with our color placement. So I'm going to take a piece. It's about 1 inch in width and probably about 1/4 inch in depth. And I'm just going to put one color all the way through. And we haven't used blue yet, so why not use blue?
People saying they're trying to get better with colors, and then sometimes pastels can be challenging.
Right. Okay. So pastels. Pastels are a whole different ballgame because you'll have those clients coming in with really dark hair who are wanting to be pastel, but it's going to take a second, and you need to be realistic as a stylist with them and say, you know what, that's not super possible today, but here's how we can get you there. Pastels they fade really fast. My hair is pastel, and I have been blessed to have naturally level 8 hair. So it's an easy enough thing for me to maintain using like color shampoos like Cara Color or something like that to help maintain the vibrancy of my color. And, I do have to take cold showers in the middle of winter. So there's that as well. All right, so we got that blue, and you can really see how that blue might be our color that just makes everything pop. So I'm going to use the blue sparingly so it can kind of be that fun piece that's just like, oh my gosh, look at that. That's a fun piece. So I'm going to take another piece here, and I'm not sectioning this out necessarily in this perfect, amazing way. Like this is just, I'm going to take a little swirl of a section, and I'm going to be intentional with my section here and why I'm choosing it. But it is definitely a more organic piece of hair. You can see there's no perfect line to it, but I have control over the piece, and I'm going to make it just my little work of art. Oops, sorry. Hit my mic. I'm actually going to bring this purple down and just do one full piece of purple. So when you're doing a full solid piece, what you can do is use your hand as a backboard, and you can see how much product I'm using. I'm really pressing it in there and using a ton of product into the hair. Some semi-permanent colors are harder to use than others because they don't spread quite as easily. So make sure that if it is not blending in, just load on the product and really saturate it. And you can kind of open it up and see, like, did I miss any areas? And work that in and let it be. So I would put a foil in front of the guest's face. However, with the rest of this and the colors that I've chosen, I actually wouldn't foil the rest. I would just leave it sitting in the hair just like this without foiling or messing with that at all. It doesn't really transfer to each other unless you smash it down together. However, if I was doing a color like yellow, I would want to keep that separate. So I probably would put at least the yellow away, out of the way, or in a foil. So I'm going to take another section here. So as I mentioned before, I'm on the Ulta Beauty design team, and you know, it's just something that I am passionate about. I do have to give a little shout out to Ulta for, you know, giving me this opportunity today to teach you guys. So the Ulta Beauty design team is like a super cool thing where we do get to kind of travel and learn from these top leaders in the industry and bring back this kind of education for you. So this is just kind of like one of the really fun things that we get to do with our job. And I'm super excited to be here with you guys.
Someone's saying that they're starting cosmetology school in February, and she's glad that there's videos like this.
Oh, good. Congrats. You're almost done with school. So you're graduating in February. That's really exciting. Oh, you're starting in February. That's extra exciting. Okay, so I did purple, and I kind of want to put some orange so it is cohesive with the other. So what you're noticing here is I may have these two purples together. However, you know, one's plain, and I'm going to put orange, the coral color that I have on the very tips here. And again, you just really, really saturate that color. Tons of color. You can see a lot on my gloves. It's really depressing to wipe it all off on the towel when you're done, but you need that color to be super saturated to really show its full vibrancy. Awesome. Okay, so let's do a few more sections here. And so you can really see all, like, how this is going to lay and really visualize. So think about how you would do this at home or with your own guest here, and what you would do to kind of maybe enhance this. Or maybe you've got a client with blonde hair that's like, oh, I just want to add some little pink pieces. Well, this might be a really fun placement for them to add those pink pieces in there. So what if we did like neon green at the bottom of this blue? What do you guys think about that? I think that could be awesome. I love a good blue and green combination. So we're just kind of having fun here, just playing with the placement, and just let your inner artist shine. Awesome. Look at that color together. It looks so pretty. Okay, and then swirling right through the middle there. And you can kind of meld the two colors together if you want, because what's going to happen here is you're going to have a third color that starts to blend and meld together before it goes into the next color. So you definitely can sit there and also go through and blend up or down into your color for a third color. So this is kind of giving us a little bit more of that teal color before it goes into the neon green. So that's a super, super cool color.
Someone's asking what brand of color you're using.
So the brand of color I'm using is Matrix So Color Cold. I love it because I feel like I can customize and make anything that I want with the Matrix So Color Cold. They have semi, demi, and permanent colors. So now I'm going to go in and I'm actually going to do a shorter piece of this purple. So let me turn so you can see. And I'm just going to basically smudge down the root a little, and the rest of this is going to be that bright coral color. So we have these nice neon coral popping right through the hair. Grabbing my coral. I generally like to use just 4 colors when I'm doing vibrance, unless I'm doing a rainbow, obviously. But I like to just use 4 if I'm doing something like this because I want each color to shine. I really want to see the dimension. I don't want the eye to be overwhelmed. And that's just me personally as a stylist. Like I just personally like to use just 4 colors max when I'm doing something like this. And that way each color really gets its little limelight. So you can kind of see it coming together here. So when I'm finished with this, and let me kind of back up so you can see. And we're back. Can you see me okay? Cool. So you're going to go through and just organically take pieces all the way around the head of this mannequin. And I want to take this down so you can really see what's going to happen here. So in the back here, we did pin off the bottom half. We see that? We pinned off the bottom half. Okay, so we've got this nice background. So imagine you're taking a picture of a client and you really want their hair to just shine, but maybe they're wearing a shirt that's a little bit bright and kind of throws off the color that you did. Well, this is kind of like your backdrop to the color that you just did here. So that's going to shadow and enhance the color and really show every piece of color. So that's why I left this out, to be this nice depth of color. So unfortunately, your hair is really, really, really wavy, but you're going to see wavy because I pinned it. But you're going to see that this color overlaps over this, and you can still see it shine through. And then I'll show this mannequin over here again, our inspiration mannequin. So she does have that depth of color underneath. I just did kind of like a deeper purple. So on her, I used Redken 3VV in chromatics. So that's what is that kind of purpley shade. And so that's kind of our background to this. And this is the Redken Chromatics 3VV as well. And so you can see each one of these pieces just really shine through. I didn't have a blue piece when I made this one, so that was just kind of a fun addition that we did today. But you can see these bright little green pieces is what's really enhancing and brightening this color. So if a guest shows me something that's just, say it was just the purple and the coral, and they go, that's what I want. Don't be afraid to tell your guests, like, hey, what if we add yellow or something? Or what if we added a streak of neon green? I do that to literally every single one of my clients. So that's where those fun colors are. And you know, the more confident you get with semi-permanent colors, the more confident you're going to get in suggesting those kind of things and seeing what kind of color combinations work super well together. So if you happen to do this on your mannequin, at home, on a guest, make sure you tag me at jair.hair. And I would love to see if you guys can do this on your mannequins or on your clients and how that ends up. I'd love to see your creativity with this. And again, I want to show this on a mannequin with a softer layered texture too, so that you can see that this technique, my stomach is growling, I hope you can't hear it. I hope you can see this technique, you know, works for any and everybody, and you can try this on anyone. So I do want to show you, if you turn her upside down and maybe she were to put her hair in a ponytail, you can see that it'll give you like a really cool streak on the sides, and it'll be nice and blocked in the back with her natural. So this is a super low maintenance, really badass color that you can use on your client. for any haircut and any hair texture.
We have a few questions.
Ooh, we have questions. Let's answer a few.
What was the color combo again? If you want to go through all the colors.
Sure. Yeah, I'll go through the color combo again. So let me show her to you. So I've got, and I'll show you on a white piece of paper too, so you can really see the brightness of it. This is Matrix So Color Coat. We have orchid mixed with fuchsia. And I didn't do equal parts. It's mostly orchid with a little bit of fuchsia. And I added that fuchsia so that I can combat the future fade of the purple, which if you're familiar with semi-permanent colors, purple tends to fade minty. You see it? So it kind of helps combat that future fade of it potentially going minty to add that pink, but I also wanted kind of a pink background to that purple. The next is the coral, and this has orange alert mixed with fuchsia. And a little bit of coral just to add a different kind of tonality to the orange. And this one is Aqua Bay. I didn't even say this one, I think. This one is Aqua Bay mixed with retro blue and navy. And I added that navy to add the depth to the color. You could see this is a really, really pretty, like deep sky blue, like a stormy sky or something. I don't know. It's really pretty. Love it. And then my last is neon green mixed with clover. So that's our color combination that we did today using Matrix So Color Coat semi-permanent without any developer, not needed. It's just going to stain the outside of the cuticle. So it's a temporary color that's going to last quite a few washes. Matrix So Color Coat does fade on tone, which means this purple is going to fade purple. When you strip it, that's when you're going to see those kind of minty colors come out. And that's just because the blue pigment in purple is so dominant. And so when blue fades out, you see that kind of greenish cast in the hair.
This one's asking, does Ulta take assistance?
Does Ulta take assistance? So they do. You have to be a qualifying hairstylist in order to have an associate designer assist you behind the chairs. But yeah, we do absolutely offer assistance with Ulta Beauty.
And then is colors like this difficult to retouch?
Are colors like this difficult to retouch? I personally don't think so, because the color fades on tone or it fades all the way out to blonde. You can kind of get that fresh canvas to start all over. And when you are picking things up organically, for me, as if I'm redoing my own work, I know in my brain what my artist head just did. So I can kind of pick up and see, okay, like we have a faded purple and it looks like it's orange down to the end. So it's a little bit easier if you're, touching up your own work. And so that's where this is really beneficial as a stylist, for you to customize your work for your guests and maybe go the extra mile and suggest like, ooh, what if we did this? Or what if we did that to enhance that photo you're showing me, so that they come back to see you. Any other questions?
Yeah, how do you advertise as a fun color hairstylist?
How do I advertise as a fun hair color stylist? I love it. So if anytime a guest says, I'm thinking like it would be so cool to add some pink to my hair. I love your hair color, or I've seen pink before and I've been thinking about it. I immediately am like, let's do it today, right now. And that's pretty much how most of my vibrant colors started. And then I was able to build my portfolio with photos and things like that. So I set aside some time to make sure, no matter what, I take photos with a lot of my vibrants so that I can post some beautiful work, do the right hashtags to get the visual out there. And, it really is about your passion. You will attract what you enjoy to do and what you're great at.
And then do you have any tips for photographing vibrant colors?
Absolutely. So tips for photography with vibrant colors. So natural light is the best light. So if you've got a window that you can take the photo in front of, I would suggest if you have a phone, to put it in portrait mode, or what's the other mode for the Samsung? It's something where where it's blurry in the background. So that your foreground, which is the hair itself, is really, really enhanced. So make sure you have natural light. I always have in my pocket when I go to do my photos a brush and some shine spray and hairspray. So when I brush the hair, it's really, really smooth. So I can show you on this mannequin here. Sorry, this stand is very flimsy, so hopefully she stays up. And so I can show you on her. So if I were to take a photo of her, what I would do is I'd want to really showcase that, you know, the brightness that I did underneath. So you could actually take a clip and go behind the hair and clip that up so it shows the hair a little bit better, because they can't see that behind, and you can see that really expands the color. It pushes everything forward. So really play with the hair and make sure you've got that right angle. Try everything. Take hundreds of photos. Take a lot. And, you know, make sure you tell your guests to just relax, have fun with them, tell them when they're doing a great job, and you'll get a great photo. Any other questions? Cool. Okay, well, you know, I really want to thank Behind the Chair for having me today, and I really want to thank Ulta Beauty as well for having me. Again, make sure you tag me in any of your work that you do. I don't care if it's my technique or any vibrant colors you do. I would love to see it. Make sure you give me a follow for more techniques, and, you know, DM me if you have any more questions. So thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. Have a great day, guys.